And then now we'll move into our community moment. Community moment, for those of you who may not have been to Oasis before, is a moment for someone from our community to come on up here and tell something about their story, something about themselves, or just maybe share something that they find unusual that they think would be relevant to the group. Today we have Ben Bradley. He is a member of our community. I asked him for 3 words to describe himself, and those 3 words he gave me were ambitious, laid back, and opinionated. I think I can agree with all of those. And I asked him for a warning label, and he said if he had a warning label, it would be warning, content's nerdier than they appear. So Ben, you want to come on up?
Hello, thank you. So when I first started coming to Oasis last August, first of all, it was a lot smaller than it is right now. And second, the moment I heard people started speaking, I knew I wanted to get up and do this because I wanted to share my story with all of you. A little bit of background about myself. My name is Ben, obviously. I was born in Lawrence, Kansas. And when I was 2 years old in 1984, my mom left my father to move in with another woman. When I was in 3rd grade, my dad came out to me as gay. So I grew up in a gay and lesbian household, twice over really. So a little bit more about after my father came out, he started doing a lot of advocating. I marched with him in Lawrence, and I marched with him on the March on Washington in 1993. And the culture, I'm sure you all know, was so different back then. Don't Ask, Don't Tell was just being signed into law. And a lot of what was happening back then made its way to my elementary school. And I didn't really think anything of it. I mean, I'd grown up this way. It wasn't a big deal to me. And I love to tell you that there was some weird experience or something, but there really wasn't. It was just normal for me. We had family dinners, listened to NPR because my mom and her partner were both English professors. And, that's just the way it was. But what did happen was when I told somebody at school in about 4th grade or 3rd grade, suddenly my whole child experience was different. I started getting bullied more. I lost some friends. People didn't want to hang around me. Even in a progressive town like Lawrence, this was happening. Fred Phelps was 20 miles away, and he was protesting. I saw him all the time. And it was a condemnation of my parents, and by an extension, condemnation of myself. So what I really wanted to talk about when I first came here in August was that how much things have changed, how much better it is, that gays can legally get married now. But I had an experience recently that made me sort of rethink things. Because in December, my stepmom, my mother's partner, was told that she only had 6 months to live. And because of where I work in the state of Kansas, not for the state of Kansas, but in the state of Kansas, I kept things very quiet. I never told anybody at work about my parents or my family, because it is still not illegal for them to fire me for it. In fact, you, I think, are probably the largest group that I've ever told, and when you leave here today, you will be the most number of people who know my secret, because I don't feel comfortable. And what I had to do in December was I had to let my boss know what was going on, because reasons why I might miss work, things of that nature. So I started talking to her about bereavement leave. And I knew that she was religious, and I knew a lot of the people that I worked with were religious. And I didn't know how it was going to play out. And it was one of the most nerve-wracking days that I can remember in a very long time. Because when I told her what was going on, and I said, I use euphemisms a lot. I'll say my mom's friend, my dad's friend. And as I get to know you, I might drop, my mom's partner, my dad's partner, and just gauge the reactions a little bit, so I know it's safe. And this is a legacy of the time that I grew up in, and the way that things were thought of back then. So to her credit, when I told my boss, she was a little weirded out, I could tell, but she was okay with it. She offered me a day of bereavement leave the first time I talked to her about it, but once she understood that it was a week. But I am lucky. I am very lucky that I have an understanding boss, but I shouldn't have to be lucky. I shouldn't have to be lucky to get a week of bereavement leave or to get understanding for time off that may be needed. It shouldn't be that way. So my message to you is, we've come a long way. I can walk up to people and tell them my parents are gay, and usually it's gone from when I was in elementary school and junior high of, ew, that's weird, to, oh, that's kind of cool, what was that like? So I will say, we've made a lot of progress. We really have. And I've seen it firsthand. But one of the demands, when I was at the March on Washington, one of the demands of the organizers was an end to employment discrimination. And that's still not here. In Kansas, Governor Brownback has rolled back federal protections for gay and lesbian employees of the state of Kansas. All across the country, there are religious freedom laws being passed to discriminate against gay and lesbians, and it's backlash. So I say, don't be complacent. We've come a long way, but this fight is not over. And I can tell you firsthand. Thank you.